Now this is why we went to all that trouble to carefully flex the fret overhang down and then polish it so that it bites into the top edge of that binding. There's no barbs or sharp pieces along the edge of this fingerboard. The frets are leveled. There was a loose piece of binding there. Now I use the Gorilla Glue. You got to be careful with this stuff though. It spans 4 times its original size. You wet the inside, the wood and the plastic a little tiny bit. I take like a guitar string and just put a whisper of that stuff on, and it really works. This will bind plastic to wood, no issue. So we'll let that set overnight and then scrape it off. But I just want to give you a heads up on what we've done so far. I actually have an EVO 0 fret, and I've actually tapered that fret towards the leading edge, kind of mimicking the compensated nut a little bit by chasing that 0 fret to the leading edge towards the 1st fret. We'll buff those frets out to their final gloss, then I'll give you another view. I did put this roller bridge on there. This stabilizes the tuning. I did have to shim these saddles to get that perfect 9.5-inch radius so that middle 2 strings are shimmed the most. The 2nd and the 5th string are shimmed just slightly less than that. The 2 outside strings have a very thin brass shim underneath. All right, the frets have now been buffed out to their final sheen. I still have to clean up that compound. I'll go over that with 4-0 steel wool. That nut, like I mentioned in the previous video, that bone piece that's ahead of the 0 fret, it's really just a string guide. I load up those slots with lithium grease to let those strings slip through there unobstructed. Now you have to remember that this is a compression spring. You got that one compression spring. This intonation and the tuning is really, it's like floating on a trampoline. It takes a little while for that to kind of float back to center. Watch this. I know the tuner's picking up the traffic going by and the kids outside, but we'll try and demonstrate as best I can with all the extraneous noise. So as you can see, you really got to give this thing a chance to kind of float back to center. Everybody knows that the Strat has usually 3, but sometimes 4 or even 5 extension springs to stabilize the tuning. With the 1 compression spring, it's pretty bouncy. You have to let that string balance with that very spongy single compression spring. You really need to understand that about a Bigsby. It's not a Strat. So we have our EVO 0 fret, and I've chased that to the leading edge, which has helped a little bit with the tuning in those first 3 frets. Not as good as an actual compensated nut, but better than nothing. There we go, our Gretsch Tennessean. I hope that helps clarify some of the issues that you're going to run into with this type of guitar. It's quite a bit more work. People are more than willing to pay the money if they know they're going to get the job done right. And that's all for now. See you next time.